Hey everybody, Brian Good here. As you know, it seems like we always have a lot to talk about. We've got our storm system coming in tonight, or really tomorrow. They'll bring us a rain chance, and then we've got to talk about the weekend and Thanksgiving. So there's a lot to discuss today. Notice on the snow tally there, still 0 for the season so far. Normally we should have at least a 10th, but notice last year to date was 3.3 inches. Remember that snow? But we do have two systems still on the board. I'm still going to keep Saturday on there, although it may end up being Sunday. We'll fine-tune that once we get more data as we get closer here. There's some timing issues showing up today. Thanksgiving, I think, is going to be okay. I don't see anything wintry for Thanksgiving as it stands now, because the pattern is slower than usually what the models indicate. So I think it's going to be the last few days of the month, if not the first few days of December, before we say system number 2 of interest would be on the board. But before we get to all that fun stuff, let's talk about some more fun stuff. Let's talk about snow. This is Ryan Hoke's dad, who did a time-lapse video. He wasn't really driving this fast, but he was showing all the snow that was cruising through the area there. So that was last year, 3.3 inches of snow here in Louisville. How will we remember that well? I remember after that, we had nothing until January 23rd. And everybody was like, winter is over. We were talking about how long, we were looking at records, how long we've had to wait for snow in the official winter season, which is meteorological winter, December 1st through March 1st. And I remember all that talk. And then all of a sudden, January 23rd, everything flipped and it went chaotic. And we are going to have an update on our winter forecast tonight at 11 on the TV side of things. It's on the news with Kevin Harnett, so make sure to watch that. All right, for today, it's not snow, it's rain. We've had a little more rain than expected on the Kentucky side this morning. Really, it looked to me it was going to be more for Indiana, but yeah, it was more for Central and East Kentucky this morning. So that has set us back on my hope here to get us into about 75. I think we'll get into the 70s, but 75 is going to be tough. The reason why I think we have a chance at 70s is because we do have some sun. Yeah, there are some breaks out there, as expected, but that morning rain just messed me up this morning as it passed through. All right, looking more to the wider view, and you can see more breaks. So, yeah, the winds are going to pick up. As we get more into that southerly flow that is here across the Ozarks, we're going to feel that wind really kick in tonight while you're sleeping tonight and early tomorrow morning. For this rain band, again, it's a straight north surge, not as much of an eastern push to it. So it's going to take a while to get in here. But this time tomorrow, it will be raining and locally heavy in spots. You see the severe weather, even some tornado warnings being issued. At this point, it looks like the main threat today is going to be aimed right in that zone of Arkansas and Mississippi. But then tomorrow, we really just don't have a lot of the parameters lined up to provide a severe risk for our area, let alone lightning. But gusty winds, you betcha, as these pass through. Just a chance for a few rumbles of thunder in our southern counties. That's all we're outlooked for. So here is our future cast. Tonight, again, staying warm tonight. We'll stay in the 60s all night long. It's going to be windy at times as well. Here comes the rain band, though. When you wake up tomorrow morning, watch Christy Dutton on Way 3 News Sunrise. She should be showing rain developing to our west, a rain wall of it really moving in. Should arrive here by mid to late morning, west of 65. We may warm up to 70 before it arrives. Just like today, it's all about timing, so there's a chance we could hit that. Then it overtakes us by the lunch hour into the early afternoon. There will be a good, I would say, 90-minute period of heavy rain and gusty winds. And after that 90-minute period, it'll ease off to just light rain. And there is some showers trying to show up in several of the models, including the NAM earlier. I noticed some backlash, what we call the post-frontal showers that could develop. Very light, but that's a possibility for Wednesday night later on, passing through. So we may add that extended chance into Wednesday night into the area. Then we're done. We're done with that system. Thank goodness. All right, how much rain are we talking about? Well, because of its fluctuation, it'll actually intensify somewhat more in the max heating of the day tomorrow, right over I-65. So that's why 65, I think, has the higher chance for totals here. About 1 to 2 inches. Couldn't rule out a 3-inch total, but I think 1 to 2 is going to be the norm. As far as wind energy with the system, helicity values. I mean, yeah, this thing's got some wind energy with it. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes to the ability to tap into that, which is where the capes come into play, this is the Schreff model, by the way, it's not even registering for our area. So it's likely below 500. So pretty pathetic on the ability to tap into those winds. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. All right, so let's move along. Let's get to the weekend. This is what everyone's been at a buzz about, even though it's not that big a deal. But I know for us snow lovers, the first flakes bring tears to our eyes, so it is a big deal. I get it. But here it is. This is the Euro. I'll show you different versions here in a second, but it's a nice little Vort that rides along the jet here across the Central Plains states Saturday morning. So Friday night and Saturday morning, we may actually warm up into the 40s, mid-40s. So I think this has a very good chance to start off as raindrops for a lot of us. In fact, all of us. And the timing on this is slowing down to Saturday afternoon. That's why I think we may end up pushing this to Sunday, but we'll see how the timing goes, because you never know how these systems time out this far out. But either way, after it moves through, though, it actually will be moving through at a time when we get into the darkness of night and it gets colder. So the back edge here, yeah, maybe an end to the rain as snowflakes, but it won't accumulate. Here's the GFS showing the same scenario. You can see the idea here for Saturday evening, rain in advance of it, and then changes briefly over to some flurries. But here's the freezing line, where if anything were to stick, even to the grass, you can see that, and that would even be a real big challenge right now this time of year. Freezing line way up there, so again, not a big deal. But again, first flakes, I get it. I get you all, all right? Other people don't get you all. Don D doesn't get you all. I get you all. Now, here's the Euro on the different version of it. And again, you can see how the little Vort rides on through the area. I wanted to examine the 700 a little more from Weatherbell on the Euro, and you can see it's 700. I mean, there's a good amount of moisture with this. So yeah, there's some decent moisture to fall. But look to the back side of that. I'll get to that here in a second. Temperatures at 850, yeah, they crash. I mean, -4 to -7, that's cold enough to change anything moisture-wise hanging around to snowflakes that can be seen all the way to the ground level. Even though you're above freezing, that's a big misconception. You have to be at freezing or lower to get snow. That's not true. You can have snow at 45 degrees. If the warm layer is real close to the ground, it gets snow, big flakes, and melt as soon as it hits the ground, but it gets snow at 45, and it can rain hard at 25 degrees. No, blows your mind, doesn't it? But it gets a little crazy when it comes to temperature profiles in the atmosphere. This is one of those classic ones where it would be cold enough to change the raindrops to snowflakes for Saturday night. But remember that little amount of moisture I was pointing out? It's trying to show another wave that tries to move in Saturday night and Sunday on the Euro. I only mention that because the GFS is trying to do the same thing. So the GFS does what the Euro does. It kind of wipes it out when it gets here. I'm not going to put a chance in yet for Sunday. I'll see if I see this repeat again tomorrow. It's kind of a new thing today. I don't want to go crazy on flakes. It's not that important to go that detailed, but it does look really cold here this weekend, though. Temperatures at night, man, in the 20s and teens for wind chills. Okay, now Thanksgiving. This is where we see some differences again. It's going to stay chilly for a while for Thanksgiving week. We do see a significant system developing. All the models are showing that Thanksgiving week. Now, Thanksgiving Day, this is the Euro. It shows a warmer pattern for us that day and dry. The rain would hold off for all the shoppers the day after, and then a lot of cold air behind it. But then here's the GFS. A lot faster with this for Thanksgiving. Gives us a rainy Thanksgiving with temperatures falling throughout the day. May end as snowflakes Thanksgiving night based on this, but this is a lot of cold air showing up on the GFS. And the indices, they're kind of wishy-washy here on the main indices we look at, but when you look at the EPO, it is just tanked here, guys. So that cold air plunge that would take place after Thanksgiving, a lot of good support for that. It's just a matter of the speed of the systems. Euro has a tendency to be really slow on energy coming out of the southwest, so I could see why it's slower and therefore warmer and drier Thanksgiving. GFS has a tendency to be really fast with northern stream features, and that's why it's trying to rush in the rain Thanksgiving and turn us cold quicker. So we're going to probably split the difference down the middle. For right now, it's still too early. Again, that's why you can't trust these models, this kind of a pattern, every day. Every model run's going to look different. So don't lose your mind, you weather watchers out there. Just relax. Know that the pattern supports a storm Thanksgiving week with colder air behind it. We've just got to get to the details, and we're not going to have that information yet. Too early. So, there you have it. Rain tomorrow, and then maybe our first snowflakes for some this weekend. But I think the bigger story this weekend is probably not going to be the snowflakes, although it will be for me. But the bigger story, I think, is going to be just how cold it's going to be this weekend. So get ready and get those furnaces ready. You're going to need them.